Are those heart healthy, keto friendly, or diabetes approved bites in your pantry helping your blood sugar or hijacking it? That and more on this episode. Hey, welcome to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast with the two renegade pharmacists, Brian Bisher and Cory Jenks. You are listening to this because you are a person with type 2 diabetes who is committed and driven to breaking free from this diagnosis and creating a real, meaningful change in your health and life. In these episodes, we're here to help you ditch the scripts with doses of unconventional wisdom on topics such as fitness, nutrition, medication, mindset, and more. So without any further delay, let's dive right in. So Cory, how you smelling? How you doing?
Ooh, ouch. Brian has called me out on my lack of showering and personal hygiene. We were talking about that right before, and he only asked me because he sniffed his own armpits right before
Yeah,
we
I did.
started to confirm that he does not smell good. And I said, as bad as you think you might smell, I think I have you beat. And it's been over a week since I've been able to shower. Not because I'm out of water here in the desert, not because I think we shower too much as a culture. But anyway, uh, summer, I'm swimming in swimming pools. So that's like getting cleaned off. And then I do sauna and I feel like that's very cleansing. And if we had any credibility with you before, I think we've lost it here in the first 35 seconds. So, uh, it's been nice knowing everybody. Fortunately, you don't smell through your podcast player. So that's
Yeah.
good.
Unfortunately, we're virtual, so I'm not smelling you either. But honestly,
Yeah.
I do agree that I think we just overshower. It's something I just become accustomed to because it's just so relaxing. But the saunas, on the other hand, it can be just as relaxing and you get that more of a cleansing feeling.
Mhm.
I feel like I want to just rinse off like after that. Maybe it's just I could do it without the soap and just get a little cold rinse off in the
Hey,
shower.
I towel off and go, man. And if I smelled that bad, my wife would tell me.
That's
So
true. That's true.
she would let me
Yeah.
know. But as of now, I have a tallow-based deodorant, so none of that crazy aluminum chemical stuff, and it works like a charm. It's like amazing.
So not
So
only that, he smells like a cow and
yeah,
he no, all right.
I
All
smell like an
kidding.
old catcher's mitt. Like, and isn't the smell of an old baseball mitt just comforting? Right?
Yeah.
I'm just growing into my smell as I age. Think of like your grandparents. Like they always smelled like kind of old and folksy
Hmm.
and like a old cow, like cowhide. That's just what I'm moving towards. So,
Hey,
accepting as we age. So, uh,
works 80%
yeah,
of the time, all the time, or something
yeah,
along those lines,
yeah.
right?
That's a 20-year-old movie reference, Brian.
I know. Well,
Enjoy our Anchorman reference.
I'll do a little callback too. I think my chiropractor would approve of your tallow-based deodorant because next thing you just gotta shave your armpits. That's the next step. Remember, you gotta trim your armpits, use only tested or I guess in your case, completely natural deodorants, and you'll be good to go. But toxins
Yeah,
won't eliminate everyone's diabetes, right? I think we gotta get into that because it's not
I
just
guess
about
so.
lack of
Well,
showering.
I was gonna make one more point that it's been a while since we've been together on a podcast because we've been traveling. We both took our families to the beach in Florida within about 45 minutes of each other, but we missed it by like a week and a half. So,
Yeah, not
couldn't
worry about
coordinate
that at
that.
all.
Folks, when you have little kids, it just doesn't always work. So, but yeah, this is the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast, not the crunch out hippie armpit fest. So, Brian, we're going to talk about something today. Do you want to tee up our topic? I feel like you're a good teer upper, and then I sort of hit it, and then you put it back on the tee and hit it better. So that's sort of our mode of going through this.
Yeah, I like that reference. I do want to bring up a topic because oftentimes I hear people tell me, "Well, hey, I'm eating healthy snacks." Like you see it in the closets, they got their bags of nuts and their fruit mix, and it's all like, supposedly whole food, and it's better than a bag of Oreos. It's better than a bag of Cheez-Its. It's better than those things, right? So,
Oh, or if they have the bag of cheeses, I get the 100-calorie packs.
yep.
So it's only 100 calories, Brian. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. Or is it? So those healthy snacks, are they as healthy as people think they are? As the marketers want people to think that they are?
Okay, so I'm going to step back and say, why do you need a snack? All right.
Oh,
So I've done some continuing education presentations on intermittent fasting, and so I referenced a study that like back in the 70s, the average number of meals a day was like 2.9 or 3.1, and now we're up to like four or five like time not meals I guess, but times of eating a day. And like what changed? And I would argue that what changed is companies started saying, if we tell people they need to eat snacks all day long, they'll eat snacks all day long. Remember, like I gotta eat 5 small meals to keep my metabolism going. So the first question is like, why do you need a snack? Because if you eat a meal that is full of whole foods, protein, fiber, satiating foods, you should not be needing a snack unless you are my kids and you are in an extreme growth phase. Like if you're in an extreme growth phase of life, so like children, pregnant ladies, like you're growing another human, you need more nutrition. You need more nutrients. But to the average office worker sitting in their cubicle for 8 hours a day, not moving, there is there the reasons you need a snack are often psychological. So it's a pleasure or escape. It could be that you're not eating satiating foods for your meals, or it could be that we're conditioned to eat.
Hmm.
So that's number one. So that's one of the first things I ask my patients is, what kind of snacks are you having? And also often like the killer is like the bedtime snack. Like I've had dinner, it's about
Hmm.
8 o'clock, turn that Netflix on, and I just don't enjoy it if I don't have a bag of popcorn or a bag of chips or something. So,
It's the environment, man. It's the
mhm,
psychological triggers, it's the stress, it's the boredom, it's
mhm,
the just habitual behavior that's been ingrained in us. And I do
mhm,
find it ironic. I'm glad you called it out, that you're referencing how many times kids eat per day, because being around your kids, they definitely are surpassing that 2.9 average. But like you said, they are growing and require more energy than the average person who is, especially the person who has type 2 diabetes, which we've reviewed, is energy toxicity. That
mhm,
person needs to be in a caloric energy deficit, not snacking. And you definitely touched upon the lack of satiation from your prior meals. So it's like if I'm hungry, I'm not going to ask, what did you eat before that? Why are you hungry? Is it
mhm,
because oftentimes, and you and I just both read this book, The Comfort Crisis, people don't know what hunger actually feels like anymore. And that's where I think intermittent fasting can be really powerful, because it can not that I'm saying you're going to starve and like you're going to waste away in 24 hours, but you will actually start to experience more real hunger than you would if you just eat 3 times a day. Like I hear, yeah, family members or friends, they get quote unquote hangry, and that's just a way to say like their metabolism ain't adapted for fat. So like they actually do get to this point where their liver is like just like craving carbs. So that
mhm.
just sends out the signal. They get all those hormones, those out there like in their brain and saying, "Hey, go get food." You've
Yep.
repeatedly trained my body, this body to crave carbs and rely on carbs. So when those glycogen stores deplete, those energy stores deplete, your body's like hungry again. But we
Mhm.
both know that your body's not going to like starve.
You're not going to die.
Yeah,
So when he talks about energy stores, so glycogen, just to recap, glycogen is how we store glucose. And you can store, I believe it's around 100 grams of glycogen in your liver and then within your muscles. So if you have more muscles, you have more of storage for your sugar. Well, where else do we store energy? Well, it's what everyone's trying to get rid of, and it's body fat. Like we wouldn't store body fat if we weren't meant to run off of body fat. Now, in a state of type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, where we are eating frequently, and often those frequent meals are carb heavy. We'll get into like it's not always the carbs, but you're never depleting. Like as soon as your glycogen stores get a little depleted, you're hungry. When you do some long, you don't have to do it long fast. Like even at this point, like I think the average from the book they were talking about, we eat within like a 15-hour period. Even if you just go to a 12 or 14-hour like fasting period, which is what it used to be like the
normal. Yeah.
50s, 60s, 70s. Like you eat your last meal at 7, you get breakfast at 7 versus snacking all night. Point being, if you get into a mode where we call it fat adapted, where your body acts like a hybrid car, where you can run on fat, you can run on glucose, either or efficiently. But when you have type 2 diabetes that's uncontrolled, metabolic syndrome, oftentimes you are just, it's like a tragedy. Like you have all this extra energy in the form of body fat that you cannot access because you've just hormonally, like you can't access it. And you've conditioned yourself to feeling like you have to eat all the time. So
Mhm.
that's the sort of, are my snacks healthy? Before we even talk about the substance, that's the why do we need it? Why are we doing it? What's the point of it? And this is my grandma always said, don't snack, you're going to ruin your appetite for dinner. Grandma was right. The old people were right, folks. Okay, listen to the
Unless
greatest generation and the silent generation.
I would say,
So
unless those snacks are hyper palatable and they stimulate your appetite. boom.
Yeah,
Then
it's
they
true.
actually will make you eat more at dinner.
Yeah,
Uh,
touche. Well, they did not have Doritos back in the 1950s when Grandma was getting this knowledge.
true, true.
So,
Snacking on
um,
carrots and hummus, maybe. Yeah, you'll blunt your
mhm.
appetite, but you're snacking on processed food more often than not. It's going to make you actually eat more at dinner.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the actual healthy snacks that are kind of marketed because, okay, maybe this person, they are on the go. They're traveling for vacation. Like you and I, we both just travel for vacation. So people just not eat on those times. Yes, that's possible, but if they want to eat something, what are they to take versus the healthy snacks that they're going to find in their grocery store?
Yeah, well, I'll say that I actually had a patient the other day come to me saying, "I give up. I want the GLP-1. I want Ozempic." And I was going through what he was eating, and he said, "Well, I get a bag of that trail mix from Sam's Club or Costco, and I just sit and I graze on it all day long." I'm like, "Well, let's look what's in it." I'm like, "Well, oftentimes it has M&Ms." They're like, "Well, this one doesn't have the M&Ms. It's just dried fruit and nuts." Okay, so fruit is not a bad word. It's not a bad food. Yes, it has sugar. However, when you look at dried fruit, often marketed as a healthy snack, it's part of that trail mix, right? And I would argue, unless you are literally on a trail for more than like 4 hours, you don't need trail mix. Anyway,
Rocking.
it sounds good, yeah, right, with a little backpack on you. So you look at a piece of fruit. We'll say like oftentimes there's like one of my favorites is dried pineapple. Okay, so pineapple in and of itself is a pretty sugary fruit. The tropical fruits tend to be more sugary. Put that aside. When you dry a fruit, you take out all of the water, and you take out most of the fiber. So what are the things that make us full when we eat a piece of fruit? The fiber helps keep us full. The water content, like the literal volume of water, fills up our stomachs more, and we feel full. You could maybe I could probably eat a whole pineapple, Brian. I could probably do it, but I'm a freak of nature. But it'd be very hard for the average person to eat a whole pineapple. But if you dry that pineapple, and oftentimes when we dry fruit, it's coated in additional sugar, so now it makes it more yummy. It's much easier to overeat. Like how many pineapples can you fit in that bag of trail mix? Now, on top of that, you're often mixing it with nuts. Now, nuts in and of itself, they're not a terrible food. There's healthy fats, there's actual vitamins, minerals. You're actually getting nutrition from nuts versus like a bag of chips. Okay. If you're moving from chips to nuts, it's all about what you're moving towards. Great. However, nuts have a lot of caloric content in a small volume. And I put it to my patient like this: 150 years ago, if you wanted an almond, what would you have to do? You'd get like the shelled almond, you'd use a literal nutcracker, you'd crack that almond open, and you would eat it. It took a lot of effort to get that caloric energy from the nut. Now you go to Costco and you can buy 4 pound bag, 3 pounds of which are nuts. A pound of it is dry fruit, and it's all concentrated and it's salted and it's covered in like seed oils, which are meant to make it extra yummy and palatable. And you come have this salt, sweet, crunchy combination. And not only is the energy of that concentrated into that bag, it's like it blows your mind from an evolutionary perspective because you're like, this is amazing. It tastes great, and you literally can't stop. So when you're looking at a snack, you want to make sure that it is something that is like in its whole food form. Now, again, is trail mix better than a bag of potato chips? You're getting some nutrition out of it, more so than that. But both are easy to overeat. And when like you have type 2 diabetes, you are in a state of energy toxicity. You need less energy. So, Brian,
Theoretically, I'll just say I think that
put it back on the tee and then tee it off again and make it right.
what I'm hearing is like it almost theoretically sounds like that 100 calorie bag of Cheez-Its would be better than snack of a bag of nuts because at least if you're just limited to that 100 bag of Cheez-Its, yeah, you're not going to get much nutrition out of it, vitamins, minerals, but you're going to be capped at 100 calories roughly based on their estimate versus like that 100 calories is probably like a handful of nuts, maybe even less, honestly. Like
It's a tablespoon of nuts.
yeah, it's it's a tablespoon, which I've read something in that book. It is really funny how soul crushing it is to see what an actual serving size of peanut butter is. I think if you look at a lot of people's eating habits, if you look, a lot of this can be attributed peanut butter. You go to their peanut butter habit and you just eliminate the peanut butter, switch to PB Fit, maybe. That might be an easy switch. You will eliminate a lot of calories from your diet. And this is not about carbs, fats. This is just about reversing energy toxicity. So whatever it
Mhm.
takes to getting an energy deficit, that's why in this case, theoretically, like bag of chips, if it's limited to 100 calories, might actually be better than the nuts, even though those are quote unquote healthier. So I think I got a little lost on that, but teeing this up is now remind me what were you saying to tee it
Well,
up
no.
with?
Well, it was like saying recap what I talked about. And then, so Brian makes a point. So what we're doing, like when you're having a snack, we want to like not overdo it. Now, if we eat something that's really energy concentrated, it's easy to overdo, especially if it's really yummy. In theory, if you eat something that's capped, like it literally is a pack of 100 calories, that should stop you. However, oftentimes that 100 calories, we'll say of Cheez-Its, it's all like carbs, fat, salt. It's really yummy. It's actually going to stimulate your appetite. It's not really going to fill you up, and you're going to still be hungry. So
Hmm.
what we're getting to is step one, try to avoid eating snacking. Like if you're eating the appropriate foods for your meals, you shouldn't eat snacking. Step two, if you do feel like you need a snack, what we want to look at is how we can get the most nutrition for the least amount of energy content, both carbs and fats. So when we're looking at a snack, something with a lot of fiber, so any kind of vegetable, whole fruit, okay, good choice. Anything with some protein in it, I like jerky, like mozzarella cheese sticks, Brian mentioned like hummus, although hummus is really easy to overeat.
That's
If you
true.
look at like a serving size of hummus, it's almost as depressing as peanut butter. It's for someone like me who likes hummus. So, uh, but sticking with something that's going to fill you up with the least amount of like food, like caloric energy is the goal. So that's where like vegetable, like a bag of baby carrots, and I have people with diabetes who say, well, carrots have sugar in them. I shouldn't eat them. I'm like, well, you got to eat a lot of carrots to like overdo it. It's a lot of like crunchy water that'll fill you up until you get to your next meal.
Yeah.
So, like when we're looking at snacks, we got to look at the why, and oftentimes it's stress too. So let's not kid ourselves. So, what's the emotional side of it? What's in your environment? Because if you have a bag of chips and a bag of carrots and you are stressed, you will go to the chips. It is not a character flaw. We go to what's comfortable in times of stress. So, what's in your environment, and then how can you stack the deck in your favor so that when those stressful points come, you go to it. And I mean, like personally, I keep a bag of baby carrots in the fridge all the time. And when I feel like I'll acknowledge like I'm mindlessly eating, I will just eat baby carrots because they're crunchy, they're hard to overeat. It takes a long time to chew. And you're gonna do like sometimes it's not about optimal nutrition, it's about doing the less damage.
Hmm.
And that's the best you can hope for sometimes. So if I eat an entire bag of baby carrots, it's like very little caloric hit. It's a ton of fiber. It's going to make me feel full. Um, so it's knowing yourself and how to approach your different situations in life to one, limit the damage and eventually move towards a healthier place.
Yeah, for sure. I think you hit a lot of great points. And I'll even add a couple things to eliminate the belief that you need to snack. First of all, like you don't need to snack. Your body will
Right.
be okay without it. And if
Hmm.
anything, embrace the hunger and discomfort. Embrace the discomfort of hunger, of real
Hmm.
hunger, of like, oh, like just reframe it as, hey, this is me moving in the right direction. This is
Hmm.
me, my body saying, hey, you're not eating enough energy. Give me more. But you're saying, no, you're going to deny that because that's like the start of the reversal. You have to feel hungry if you want to start feeling better. Like if you want to start reversing your disease, putting it in remission, getting off medications, maybe not to say you have to be like starving. You can definitely curb your hunger with like we talked about like the protein to energy ratio, like just basically high fiber, high protein foods, low total energy. You can like curb your appetite, but if you're the type of person who you're not there yet, not all your meals are made out of like the perfect food, and you're starting to feel hungry, just embrace it. Uh, Reflect like what did I eat? What made me not like what didn't hold me over as much? How can I like add a little bit more protein to that meal? How can I add a little bit of fiber to that last meal? But most of all, just like say yes, this is my body telling me, hey, it's starting to reverse some of the damage. Uh, I need to just deal with this.
Hmm. Yeah, and as you start nourishing your body with the appropriate foods, like your capacity to go longer between meals improves.
Yeah.
I think of fasting as a muscle. Like if you can go one day without eating a bedtime snack. Okay, so now you've lengthened your eating window from maybe 8 hours to 10 to 12 hours. Okay, and then maybe the next day you push your breakfast back an hour. Okay, now you're up to 13 or 14 hours. That's good. Like you don't have to do these crazy 72-hour fasts to improve your condition. But I think getting back to how humans have normally eaten, which is not having food available 24/7, is an appropriate way to go. It's just hard when our environment shoves it in our face 24/7.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
Brian,
I,
any last words on the topic?
Reminder that intermittent fasting is not a magic tool. Like you still, if you eat all the calories in the same shorter window, then you're not going to do any, your body's not going to just magically like lose weight. So you still have to be in a calorie deficit, even with
Mhm.
intermittent fasting. But it is a great tool if it's like you're mentally telling yourself, hey, I'm going to stop eating at 7 o'clock. And that's just like a little bit of a promise you keep to yourself. Like just setting that intention goes a long way. Speaking out loud, and then don't be afraid to call yourself out. Like, hey, bring the subconscious like mindless snacking to the conscious by just saying, hey, I'm about to, I'm going to the cabinet again. That's where the nuts are, uh, and I have them there for the kids or whatever. But like, I don't need this right now. I'm not actually hungry. I just ate 2 hours ago. Let me
Mhm.
just move away from the cabinet. Let me go get a drink of water. Let me just go for a quick walk if I'm stressed. You got to just start finding other ways to deal with the actual root cause of what's causing you to be hungry in the first place.
Yeah.
Oftentimes stress, oftentimes boredom. Figure something else out to do. So,
Right. And I'm sure your doctor gives you all this advice in their 7 minute
no,
primary
yeah.
care visit every, 6 months, right? So and this is why our system is broken. It's like you're not going to get this information from your physician. It's not their fault. It's the system they're in. It's really up to you to take care of business and save yourself. I'm not going to tell you how good baby carrots are dipped in peanut butter because that would defeat the purpose of this episode. Just saying it's a great peanut butter vector. When I feel like I'm doing well and I want to have some more delicious peanut butter in my life, I'll use those baby carrots. But I'm good about, typically not doing that.
I've
So
actually done baby carrots with macadamia nuts and it's pretty good. But
yeah,
yeah, don't do that right now. Do not do
Brian
that.
and I do not have to reverse metabolic syndrome right now. Um, but if we did, we would not do that. So
Yeah.
um, cool. Anything else to close us out?
No, just thanks for listening. We got the free masterclass. It's live. Check it out. It'll be in the comments. Breaks down this whole 3-step process and summarizes like everything we talked about
Mhm.
in previous episodes now. So check that out now. The link will be in the comments, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
Yep. We'll smell you later.
Yeah. Good. See you. Thanks for listening. Now go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode, and you can join us on the journey and roadmap to remission. Thanks for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.